The only reason you're selling yourself short is because you've got limiting beliefs. Overcome the limiting beliefs and you will be able to start living an amazing life. Dang, I just read something profound. It's one of those things that it's like, yeah, you know it's true. But man, it really brings home the drive I have to change my life, to change the way I think, and to make an incredible life for me and my family. Let me read it to you. So I'm sitting here reading the Miracle Morning. It's cool because I've already woken up at 5 this morning. I meditated. I've already taken a shower, brushed my teeth, had coffee. I'm really working to wake up earlier. And anyway, I bought this book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Let me read this to you, and maybe you'll feel the same pull and punch that I just felt. The story of the human race is the story of men and women selling themselves short. Abraham Maslow. Ouch. That's why the importance of understanding your limiting beliefs and overcoming them is so important. Stop selling yourself short. The only reason you're selling yourself short is because you've got limiting beliefs. Overcome limiting beliefs and you will be able to start living an amazing life. Simple, important, and true. So my meditation this morning was about limiting beliefs, and even though I've done this meditation so many times before, I always get something out of it. I wanted to share with you what I kind of came up with, what happened with John, what his thoughts were, and give you some steps to help you identify some limiting beliefs so that you can maybe move past them. Yeah? In this context, the beliefs that we're talking about are the beliefs you believe about yourself, your life, other people. It's really that deep layer that creates your self-identity. So because this topic could be so big, it can be such a big topic, we're just gonna focus on you, what you think about yourself, okay? So what is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is essentially a belief that limits you. It's amazing, right? So if you don't think that you are a creative person or that you have the ability to be an entrepreneur, for example, you may spend the rest of your life just working a day job and being an employee because you don't think you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. That's a huge limiting belief that will majorly impact your life. So that's a pretty big example. Other small examples could be like, you don't believe that you can lose those last 20 pounds, and so you don't try that hard, or you don't think that you can do what it takes to lose the 20 pounds, so you don't. You continue to have the same actions and behaviors that keep those 20 pounds on because you don't really think you can lose the 20 pounds. I know I'm speaking from experience. I got to pudge, having lots of babies and a lot of emotional challenges over the years has really caused me to hold on to some weight. That's a limiting belief I have for sure. So unless you could say that your life is like 10 stars in every single area, health, fitness, life, love, money, business, career, relationships, you got it down. You're a 10 out of 10 and you are rocking it in every area. If you can't say that with a surety, then it's likely you are dealing with limiting beliefs. And so let's talk about how you can identify them. They are formed in your formative years. When you're a kid, you've got mom and dad there, you've got brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, the people that you interact with that are teaching you how to be a human, teaching you how to interact and be social, and teaching you about yourself. And too often, unfortunately, the words that we say as parents have such massive effects on our children. Limiting beliefs really come from your childhood and the way that you perceived your situation and what you were being told about yourself and the different situations that you just came across. And so a lot of these things are just so deeply embedded in us, it's really hard to overcome them, but there are ways that you can identify them and there are ways that you can overcome them and live a more fulfilled, happy life. Unless you don't want to be more fulfilled and happy, because if you don't, then just go be unhappy somewhere else. I don't want you. Before we even get into how to identify them, it's really important to understand why it even matters. Why does it matter to identify and isolate these things and work on them? Well, it's kind of obvious, right? You have a limiting belief, it's affecting the areas of your life where the limiting belief exists. If you don't like your personality or you don't think other people like you, then going out and socializing can be tremendously challenging because you're going to have a difficult time connecting with people because you already believe that people aren't going to like you. That's a big problem. If you believe that you can't be wealthy or that you can't make the money that you need to be able to live a beautiful life, then you're not going to put yourself yourself out there for the kind of work that would require a big life. In order to make big money, you've got to do big things. So you're gonna have to deal with limiting beliefs if you want to play big in life. Limiting beliefs simply cause lack in our lives, and we have got to identify them and overcome them in order to not have the lack in our lives. We don't want lack in our lives. You don't want lack. You want to have abundance and beauty, and you want that 10 out of 10 in every area, right? So this is what we're going to do to identify those areas and work on overcoming them. All right, so here's some questions for you. What is lacking in your life? When you look around and you consider your life, what is lacking? Are you lacking a love relationship, friendships, the ability to walk up a flight of stairs without breathing so heavily that you have moisture coming out of your nostrils and you're panting? Are you lacking joy, confidence, love, money in the bank? That's a problem. All right, so the next question to ask yourself, what excuses are you making for why you lack? So when we think about living the life that we want to live, what kind of excuses are we making up for not having the money that we need in order to live that life? I'm not smart enough, I can't do this, I'm not meant to be an entrepreneur, I can only have my day job, I work too much, I don't have enough extra time. What excuses are you making for why you lack what you do? What or who are you blaming for your lack? And this is a big problem, folks. We gotta stop blaming external circumstances and external folk, okay? We've got to learn to take 100% responsibility for ourselves. And until we can take 100% responsibility for our thoughts, our actions, our behavior, our character, we're going to have a lack-filled life. Who or what are you blaming for your lack? Or are you taking self-responsibility? What do you yearn for? Do you want a big life, but you're playing small? You've got a limiting belief that's keeping you small. And then what's your attitude about this limiting belief? I'm gonna go back to my food thing, right? I've got some weight I need to lose. I've had multiple children. I lost a baby girl, which has seriously affected me. It caused me to go into an emotional shutdown for pretty much all of the year of 2017. I lost her, delivered her on March 2nd, 2017, and really I just shut down. In the past, whenever I've had a baby, I've been able to get down to about 130 every time, and after this I couldn't lose past 150. It's like I hit 150 and my weight just stopped. I could not seem to lose any more weight. And then I ended up getting pregnant again with my rainbow baby, my Zane. And after delivering him, now I'm stuck at like 137. Every time I get on the scale, it's 137, no matter if I've gone 2 days without eating or if I've just had a feast. So my attitude about my weight loss is really kind of got all these emotional hang-ups. My emotional hang-ups are really creating this inability to lose weight, when the reality is I'm still eating more carbs than I should. I'm still consuming more alcohol than I should. I'm not exercising. I don't get out and walk enough. I don't do weights. I'm not weightlifting. And so all of these things obviously are contributing to the fact that I'm not losing the extra chub around my waistline. People will say, oh, you look just fine, and oh, your body's just fine, and you're not overweight. I think that's sweet, but that's just feeding into my excuses, right? Oh, well, they think I'm all right, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But it's like, at the end of the day, I'm not happy with my fitness, and I'm not happy with the way my body looks or the way my body fits into clothes. I'm gonna allow myself to just kind of live in those excuses of, well, I lost my baby, and so my body's still recovering from that. So in a sense, I'm positive. My attitude is positive because I'm like, I know I can lose the weight. I know without a shadow of a doubt that I can drop 20 pounds. I know it. So yeah, I'm positive that that could happen. And I'm positive that if I took the right steps and took the right action, that it would happen. But I'm also negative in the sense that I have this, like, I've got a limiting belief about not drinking alcohol anymore or not eating foods that I enjoy. I want to still enjoy food, and I want to still be able to drink alcohol. So it's like, those are things that I don't know that I'm willing to part with yet. And so it's a limiting belief, right? Do I really want to lose those 20 pounds, or do I want to give up eating and drinking? I'm not positive I can have both. Does the belief that you have stir up fear in you? Back to the weight loss. Fear does come up for some reason whenever I think about starting to work out, for example. I know I need to work out. I know that that's what I need to do to be healthy and get fit, but it freaks me out to think about working out and the just fatigue that I might experience physically, and just the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing. I can go walk. I know how to walk. I know how to ride a bike, but I need to do weightlifting. I need to build some muscle, and I don't really know what I'm doing. And YouTube videos are great, but they don't really help me. I need a personal trainer to really take me by the hand to do that, but I can't, do that with my life and everything that I got going on right now. So that's another limiting belief. Did you catch that? The last question here is, what's holding you back from taking action? What's holding you back from taking action to change this limiting belief? If you want to have a big life, you want to own your life and be an entrepreneur and create things and really meet your full potential by expressing your creativity however it best suits you, you've got to think big, you've got to dream big, you've got to live big, you've got to play big. And the last thing that I'm going to ask you is, how honest are you in answering these questions? If you're not honest with yourself, then we got problems. Houston, we got a problem. If there's something that you think about, I can't lose this weight, or I can't have the love of my life, or I can't be an entrepreneur, I'm not smart enough, I'm not creative enough, I don't know what it takes to have my own business. Follow those kind of statements, those belief statements with the question, is it true? Is this true? Is it really true that you're not creative enough? Is it really true that you just don't know how to start a business? You might not know how to start, but you know how to find out the answers, right? And then take that further. Is it true without a shadow of a doubt? Is there anything at all that could potentially not be true about that statement that you believe? And then, is that true for other people? Is it true for other people? If it's not true for other people, it probably isn't true for you either. There's 4 steps really to getting to the root of this and fixing it, okay? Step 1 is to acknowledge it. Acknowledge this belief, and I've already given you some ways to acknowledge it and some questions to ask yourself. 2, getting to the root cause. Identify what is causing this belief to be so deeply embedded in you. 3 is be inspired to change. And how are you inspired to change? When you recognize that you have these limiting beliefs and you recognize that you could live a life without them, that's pretty inspirational. Look at other people and find some success stories of people who have been in your shoes that went from being a broke joke to being a billionaire. They exist. Trust me, they exist. You just got to take some time to search it out and get some inspiration from them. If they can do it, you can do it. And step 4 is experience owning a new belief. So what does that mean? Your imagination is incredibly important, and you're constantly imagining. You're constantly imagining the future. You're imagining, probably more often than not, worst case scenarios, but you're always imagining your future. So instead of imagining negative things and instead of imagining bad things or worrisome things, why not imagine good things? Why not imagine the things that you think that you're lacking or that you want to change because you're lacking? Imagine the lack is gone. Instead of having $100 in your bank account, imagine having $100,000 available, cash money to you. Instead of thinking about the bills you have to pay, imagine not having any bills to pay. You're debt-free, baby. There really is a cycle to our thoughts, and the way we think comes out in the way that we behave and our actions that we take. And so the thoughts that we're thinking 100% affect what you're doing right now. If you want to have a big life, you got to take big action. It all starts up here. Start to visualize yourself taking that big action. Start to visualize yourself in those roles that you want to see. If you want to travel the world, envision yourself traveling the world. If you want to have a particular car, envision yourself getting that car, driving that car around. If you want to lose the weight, envision yourself skinny and healthy and trim. If you want to envision yourself happy, envision yourself happy, smiling, laughing, joking around, enjoying your company, enjoying being by yourself. Envision yourself with a smile on your face. Experience owning that new belief. What kind of limiting beliefs have you identified as yours? I know I have plenty to work on. I've got this weight thing that I'm dealing with. Look at the pudge. It's not cute. This work's important. I really encourage you to take it seriously. You've got to be your strongest supporter. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to be willing to do the work if you want a better life. And I think that you do. You're here right now with me. I know you want a better life. I know you want to be happier, more fit, more fulfilled in your life. And so I know that anyone who's watching this is seeking after a better life. So you got to sit down and get real. You got to get real with yourself. You got to get real and ask those questions. Figure out what your limiting beliefs are, squash them.
Do you mind sharing what your limiting belief was that you thought about during the meditation?
The primary one was that I'm not smart enough
Really?
Yes.
Where do you think that thought comes from?
I don't know. The first memories that pops in my head were were bad memories from my childhood. I'm not really sure.
How do you think that's affected you?
Well, I think that is where my self-confidence issues stem from.
Not feeling like you're smart enough?
Which has probably held me back from excelling completely or to excelling to my maximum potential throughout life, in various jobs and activities.
How's that make you feel?
How does what make me feel?
Knowing that you have this belief that you're not as smart as you'd like to be, or you're not smart enough, keeping you from reaching your full potential and potentially having missed out on opportunities in the past. How does that make you feel? Do you have feelings?
Sometimes.
That's fair. That's my experience. I'm joking.
It doesn't make me feel good, which is like this shitty cycle. Probably it doesn't make me feel good, and then that probably exacerbates the issue, the underlying limiting belief issue. So it's like this really crappy cycle.
You know you're smart though, right? Like logically, you know you're smart.
Like logically, I know I'm smarter than an ape. That's also the problem. Compared to what?
Well, why do you have to compare yourself to anyone? I mean, what does smart enough even mean?
Right. It's just like obscure statement or metric.
I mean, you've got a great job. You've maintained great jobs. You do coding and crazy stuff that I can't even begin to care about comprehending. No? Is it all a farce?
It's not exactly coding.
Well, whatever it is. See? I'm not smart enough to know what he even does. Like, what would make you feel smarter?
Really, I think the crux of the matter is that I don't really need to feel smarter.
What does that mean?
The term, smarter, we just concluded that it's just this obscure thing, right? What is smart enough? Well, smart enough is whatever you want it to be, right? It's a subjective term, right, or phrase. So I think probably I just need to get to the point where I'm just comfortable with who I am, and then I'll be able to embrace who I am, and everything else will just fall into place.
I'm comfortable with who you am. And I like to embrace who you are.
I like it when you embrace who I am.
What do you feel like would make you have a meaningful life? Like what? Accomplishing what? So accomplish things, have business, and skateboard.
Or just work at an ice cream place.
You'd want to work at an ice cream place? What if you owned your own ice cream place instead of working at an ice cream place? What do you think about that?
I would have ice cream every day.
Do you think that would be a healthy decision to make?
No. I would eat salad before that.
A salad? So eat a salad and then have ice cream, and that's good? They balance each other out? Yeah? Do you feel like you're a confident kid? I think so. I think he's pretty confident. Do you feel like you're a healthy kid? He's okay. He could do better. He does like a lot of sweets, hence the ice cream store. If I told you that you could do anything with your life or be anything that you want to be, would you believe me? Yeah, that's good, because you can. I love you.
Love you.
I love you.
Love you.